You already know what time it is. Welcome back into the NFL with AJL, episode 113. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are right here tapped in with us on the show. And for that, we are forever grateful. You already see the guest on the screen. Going to be a great show with him tonight. Before we get started, y'all, please make sure to like and share the show wherever you may be watching. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the bell, of course, so you never miss a post. That link tree in the description is every bit of social media and podcast content at NFL with AJL. I promise if you cannot find us, you simply are not looking hard enough. We got a banger on tap tonight, season opener recap, making our week 2 college football picks of the rest of our week 1 NFL picks. Saquon Barkley was voted the best player in the league, and a little bit of Travis Hunter news. But of course, before we get into it, Marcus, great to have you. An all-timer here on the NFL with AJL. What's going on, man?
I appreciate it. It's good to be back. You know, I do a lot of talking, and sometimes I talk too much. So it's always nice when people ask me to come back on the show. Makes me feel wanted. So it's glad to be here.
Hey, you already know when we get you on here, we got to be like, hey, hard stop. We got to have a little less topics, but it means that there's just good conversation, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're a true conversationist of the game like I am. So I really appreciate you just taking the time to share your takes here. Y'all be sure to check out Marcus on the Give Us a Shot Network at Goat Talk Pod, Marcus Talk Sports. Check him out on Protect Our Queens. You want to see a WNBA podcast? This guy's the guy you need to be listening to. We'll let him plug himself at the end of the show, but we're going to take it right off of the top here as the Dallas Cowboys 1,000,000% gave the Philadelphia Eagles a run for their money in the season opener. We had Philadelphia coming away with the W just by 4 points, 24-20. Marcus, I know you know that this one was a banger, man. I mean, 10 minutes in, we got Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott. We have a gruesome knee injury from Philadelphia, which prayers up for that guy. And then a first quarter brawl. Just an absolute crazy game to see. Give me some of your takeaways from this one, man, because, I mean, Brian Schottenheimer earning his respect, Dak Prescott, and that Cowboys offense really not having to feel the presence of Jalen Carter. I would love to know your thoughts on last night's game.
I know there are no moral victories in football, sports in general, but if you are a member of the organization or the Cowboys or a fan, you have to feel good coming away from that game, right? Because when you just days before trade away Micah Parsons, you have to, like, it seemed like the writing was on the wall for a beatdown in Philadelphia on ring night, right? 100%. And I get it. Jalen Carter gets tossed because of spitting on Dak. And so maybe you take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, still, like, Dak looked really good. Like, he looked really, really good. And we are really one CD Lamb drop and a really good tackle by Zach Bond on the breakaway run from Miles Sanders in the third quarter from us having a conversation about the Cowboys going into Philadelphia on ring night and getting a win. Like, Despite all of the craziness, that's what happened in that game is the Cowboys showed up and they held their end of the bargain, right? I will be honest with you. I trolled my Cowboys friends and family, and I said, I don't know if Brian Schottenheimer's the guy, right? Of all the possible coaching candidates to replace Mike McCarthy,
of course they would promote
Brian Schottenheimer being the pick. I will tell you, I was very not sold on it. But again, to go into Philadelphia, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a divisional game, but it's also against arguably the best team in the NFL on ring night. And without Micah Parsons, and you're still able to go out there, Dak looked really good. CeeDee Lamb, despite the 4 drops, had a really strong showing, over 100 yards. The run game, bro, looked strong as well. Again, I know they were without Jalen Carter, but you have to feel good about the run game as well. Another thing that I thought that was really impressive, I saw earlier today, when Kenny Clark was on the field, the Cowboys allowed 2.2 rushing yards per play. When Kenny Clark was off the field, they allowed 6.6. So if there was anyone worried about getting Kenny Clark back in exchange for Micah Parsons, that's proof right there that that's a guy that's a game changer. I think, again, no more victories in sports, but if you're a Cowboys fan, you do have to feel good about the direction that the team is going, to be able to go out there and avoid a beatdown, but also have an opportunity at the end there to win it. And I'll be honest, I do think that game delay is what undid them, right? Because you think about it, every team had scored, both teams had scored on every possession, except for that fumble, and then they come after the delay, and it's punt, turnover downs in the game, right? So, they were clicking, and again, Dak looked really good, which I expected him to look good coming off the injury. There's a lot of things to like, a lot of positives to take away. Obviously, you want to get the win, but you have to feel good if you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, you definitely have to feel good if you're a Cowboys fan about this one. I mean, you're 100% right. There are no moral victories, but I believe if you told the Cowboys that Dak would perform the way he did, that Kenny Clark would punch in for Micah Parsons the way that he did, the way that the Dallas defense got pressure on Jalen Hurts, was I the only one to see that Dallas felt like they were running the show in the trenches? And I mean, the stat about Kenny Clark, talk about an eye opener, right? And you got to give credit to Brian Schottenheimer. Like, we had doubts about him. He came in, and if we have a CeeDee Lamb catch or two, and like you mentioned, the Zach Bond tackle, like there were plenty of pivotal moments in this game to where it's like we're having a different conversation on episode 113 of NFL with AJL if some of those things happen, you know? And like all the predictions went out the window the moment that Jalen Carter spit on Dak. The moment that Jalen Carter got thrown out of the game for the Eagles was exactly like when the Dallas Cowboys lost Micah Parsons. Right or wrong, because the defense was built around Micah, and the defense is undoubtedly, indubitably, like you like to say, built around Jalen Carter, a top 2, top 3, maybe the best defensive tackle. I'm sure Chris Jones would like to take up with that in the NFL. So every defensive game plan that we were thinking of and the beatdown and all that, like Dallas had time. They clearly came right down the field and scored because they didn't have to worry about double teaming Jalen Carter, and it just really opened up their offense as well. Adoree Jackson will probably not be a Philadelphia Eagle come week 2 with the way the fan base is. Obviously, the way that he performed on the field, just getting absolutely toasted. And Eagles fans really tried to warn us about this, right? But you know, coming down the field, silencing all of the doubters, literally answering all the haters and the controversy and just scoring was exactly what Dallas needed. And after that Jalen Carter ejection, like shout out to Dak Prescott for getting into Jalen Carter's head and really rage baiting him, because people can say that Dak spit first. People that are saying that he spit first is about as delusional as people saying that Josh Allen is better than Jalen Hurts. It's just not a factual statement. He was spitting over his lineman. He was spitting down at his feet. And Jalen Carter wants to come up and say, "Are you spitting at me?" And Dak literally goes, why the hell would I spit at you? We're about to compete. But you see Dak standing up for the rookie and Tyler Smith that Jalen Carter was trying to go after. So it's like, cerebral assassin, Triple H mode in the NFL. We just witnessed that with Dak Prescott over Jalen Carter, and I'm sure you can appreciate the wrestling reference and everybody that's watching. But, you know, 21-20 going into the half is not what anybody expected. And, like, I'm starting to sit there and wonder, is Philadelphia about to blow this? Because I said it on my show, and I also said it on Germ, Stuff About Sports with Germ. Like, if Philadelphia lost that game, that would be the biggest upset in recent memory, because Saquon, number 1 player. Like, we understand the defense, the offense, the Super Bowl year, the historic season, the postseason, like everything that came in, right? You're dropping the ring. It's banner night. So I was really starting to get a little nervous there. I mean, you had 4 drives and 4 scores for Dallas in the first half. They scored more points in the first half than they did all of last season for Philadelphia. Against Philadelphia, excuse me. You had 3 personal fouls and an ejection for Philly, obviously. That was a big mental mistake, like 8 penalties for 100-plus yards in the game. You look at the box score, and you really think that Philly shouldn't have won the game. You had 3 touchdowns, all rushing and no punts in the first half for the Eagles, so it was just clearly like they were moving the football down the field systematically. We know exactly what they've got to do to make it happen. But shout out to Jalen Hurts, the first Super Bowl MVP to score 2 touchdowns in the first half of a game in the first half following the season opener. And then, of course, Jalen Carter becomes the quickest NFL player ever ejected. Actually, the first player on the defending Super Bowl champions to be ejected in the season opener. And then you had the Cowboys having their first game with 2 rushing touchdowns in between the tackles since 2022. And then Philly had the first game allowing 2 rushing touchdowns between the tackles since 2021. So it was a very clear trench domination there. And I just think that was a big surprise for a lot of people going into this one, because people said like Jalen Hurts was going to have a lot of time. He was going to have a lot of time. AJ Brown was going to go off. You know, he's going to be looking like Cam Ward behind that line. And that just clearly wasn't the case. Speaking of AJ Brown, you wait 56 minutes to give AJ Brown his first target of the game, and it's a catch for 8 yards. That's what you thought the implementation of this offense coming off the Super Bowl win was really going to be for Nick Sirianni. But anywho, you had A.J. Dillon. Looks like he could really be a killer RB2 in this offense. And I mean, just the fact that the Cowboys were able to get as much pressure as they did, I think that's a real testament to what they're going to be trying to do this year. When Miles Sanders took off down the field on that run, and Zach Bond literally saved it. I mean, that's just revenge game at its finest, right? Then obviously he comes up and fumbles a little bit later. But, you had the flag on Blankenship for the unnecessary roughness. Then you had the Quinyon Mitchell fumble recovery. And I really feel like that's what the defense needed to get right. Dak Prescott with a touchdown saving tackle as well. 64 minutes off for both of the teams for the weather delay, I thought was pretty big. But it really gave both of them, right? Like not just one or the other. It gave both teams really an opportunity to deliver a banger to open the season, really get some fresh legs. And that's what we saw. I thought there was a lot of open receivers for Dallas in this game. And, really they just got more pressure on Philly than Philly did on them. And the eye test to me didn't really show it being close. CeeDee Lamb with those 3 huge drops. I mean, 2 big ones late in the fourth quarter. Don't get me wrong. They're tough catches, but the fact that like you are able to touch those footballs and still not come down with the reception is massive. And when you look at kind of just a finishing stat line for Philly, Jahan Dotson was your leading receiver and Jalen Hurts was your leading rusher. It's not so bad that Hurts was your leading rusher, but that's not like the Philly way for the recipe for success, right? Like Saquon Barkley had a little bit of magic happening, but no real special plays from him. And again, taking 56 minutes to target your number 1 receiver, a top 5, top 10 receiver in the league, I really don't think that is a recipe for success. Any closing remarks from you, man, on remarks of the season opener before we spill on over into the next topic?
No, I would just say again for the Cowboys going in, I believe they have the Giants next week, and then they have the Bears, and then they host the Packers, the Panthers after that. The Packers is the toughest game of that 4-game stretch coming up, but they have a strong chance to go into what will be Week 6 at 4-1. I'm sorry, at 3-2. Excuse me, because they lost, and I think that's good. And again, to come off of this game feeling good, I mean, they were probably going to beat the Giants, the Bears, and the Panthers anyway, but now you feel really, really good. You get a little bit more reps. I would like to see a little bit more from George Pickens. I think like implementing him more is going to be important.
I want to see him do more than fight.
Well, that too. I think the frustrating part about this game for George Pickens is that obviously this Philadelphia secondary was physical, right? And so you do have to kind of adjust to that. But I mean, he had he was able to get the pass interference on the one on his I think it was his first target when he kind of almost caught it with the one hand there. He had another play though in the corner of the end zone against Quinyon again, where it probably should have been pass interference or at least a defensive holding. They didn't call it. But that was another one as well. It's like I think as the season goes on, he'll find his spots. And for sure, when they play this game again in Dallas, I think Dallas is going to feel really good, especially depending on how the season goes between now and then. Like they're going to feel really good and they're going to think they can have a shot. Obviously, Jalen Carter hopefully won't spit on someone before they can even snap the football and he'll play.
Absolutely classless.
But yeah,
but I wasn't surprised that Jalen Carter, of all people, did something like that. Philly fans are going to come for my head in the comments, but I think they know what I'm saying. Like Jalen Carter's always been a little bit of a dirty player, just a little bit,
maybe.
Trying to save the controversy, as Pat McAfee says here on episode 113. But yeah, you guys get down in the comments. Let us know what you think of the season opener. Did you think Philly was actually going to blow it at one point? What were your thoughts on Jalen Carter's classless move, just not caring about his teammates or anything, just a true selfish act in the moment? Saquon Barkley was ranked number 1 on the NFL top 100 list. He jumped 85 spots, the most ever rushing yards and scrimmage yards in a season, playoffs included. Obviously, we know he passed TD Terrell Davis for the record. And this was pretty historic company, right? Like Adrian Peterson was ranked number 1 back in 2013, the top 100 players of 2013 after his 2012 season. Obviously, MVP comes back just what felt like months later, way quicker than the healing timeline. He's able to come close to Eric Dickerson's record. He rushes for 2,000 yards. He was the last running back to achieve the top spot before Saquon Barkley. So here's the real question of the topic, Marcus. Do you truly believe that Saquon Barkley was the best player in the league last year? A running back was the best player in the NFL in 2024?
No, if Saquon was the best player in the NFL last year, he would have won MVP. I mean, that's for starters. I understand why they voted Saquon number 1. I mean, again, you go 2,000 yards. He would have broken the record if they let him play on that last game against New York. And as I always say, I understand that a lot of older fans of the league will look at it and say, and it would have been in an extra game. Saquon Barkley, if he broke the record, would have had a considerable less amount of carries than Eric Dickerson would have when he set the record, which to me, carries matters more than games played.
Yeah, what's your workload?
Especially when you consider the fact that Saquon did miss a couple of halves or quarters here and there in games because of injuries. Like he could have broke the record well before week 17 or 18 if he didn't miss that time as well. Saquon
Yep.
Barkley's not the best player in football though. He is, I would say, one of the most important players in football, and he's certainly a top. I would say he's a top 5, definitely a top 10 player in football. But in my opinion, Saquon's not the best player in football. He's not the best player on his team. So
Very fair take, man. Very fair. And yeah, I mean, when you came right off the top and you were saying like, hey, does you or when you were talking about like say if Saquon Barkley was the best player in the league, he would have won MVP. And I can feel you right there, like 100%. And he was in those MVP talks. I thought that he won, and obviously you know that. I thought the fact that he won Offensive Player over the Year over a guy in Jamar Chase who literally was a Triple Crown winner. And that part is kind of so devalued because I mean, of course, Cooper Kupp's season was great and he was a Triple Crown winner, but he also won the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP. So we kind of know that, of what that entailed. But obviously, he was a 2,000-yard rusher. He jumped 85 spots, which I think is the biggest jump we've ever seen on an NFL top 100. Only the second running back ever, literally only Adrian Peterson ever has been ranked number one. Saquon Barkley had 11 100-plus yard performances, 5 of those games over 150 yards, a league-high 7 40-plus yards carries, and obviously he did the backwards hurdle. Of course, he had a great chance, like you mentioned, to break Eric Dickerson's record, but he decided to sit out. Like he really wanted his teammates. He wanted guys like Shipley to be able to get some carries in, but you even see through the playoffs, 119, 205, 118, and then obviously in the Super Bowl, he looks decent as well. Of course, Jalen Hurts takes home the Super Bowl MVP, also making an All-Pro, also being the first running back to earn 20 plus million a year, rushing for 2,504 yards, which was the most in a season, including playoffs, 2,857 scrimmage yards, beating that by over about 90 yards roughly actually on the list when he was going for also Terrell Davis's record, which he did thankfully end up passing. But a very good point about Eric Dickerson's record, because you look, Eric Dickerson had 379 carries when he went and rushed for the record versus when you look at Saquon's carries, which I'm trying to get here in front of me, he had 345. So I had about 34 less carries. Would you look at Eric Dickerson? He had 3 times in the NFL, he had almost 400 carries. He had 379, he had one in the 390s, and he went for 404 as well. So, like, that was a major, major workload. But, like, when you ask the question of was Saquon Barkley literally the best player in the NFL being voted there, I mean, I can agree with them giving it to him because of the first season, like the precedents coming in, just being able to go on an absolutely historic run, all the records, everything we talked about, right? But again, what was it over the Triple Crown winner in Jamar Chase? Was it over the MVP in Josh Allen? Was it over Lamar Jackson's insane historic NFL season, one of his best that he's ever going to put up? That's where I have a little bit of a reservation, but I'll be honest, Marcus, I'm not too upset about it because it's not like he didn't deserve it, right? It's not like
yeah,
he didn't just go out here and set all of those records and just have an insane, stat by stat, really coming out party as he got through the regular season, and especially the fact that he just continued it through the playoffs, I think was huge. But I like how you came right off the top there and you were just like, no, if Saquon Barkley was the best player in football, then he would have won MVP. At least the brother got votes. I'm sure we can, agree there
that's
on
fair.
that.
Yeah.
We've got some Travis Hunter news, maybe not big news, but he is officially debuting as a wide receiver 1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Clearly, Brian Thomas Jr. is the wide receiver 1. The offense moves around him. And Travis Hunter will now be dubbed as CB2 on the depth chart, meaning he will not get the best matchups within, obviously, the best players on the field, like a Jettas or maybe a Devontae Adams or Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown. Which position do you see him excelling at, Marcus? Because it's kind of tough. Like, this guy played 700 snaps in college on offense and defense. Dude won Heisman. I mean, he was legit elite on both sides of the ball. Now, obviously, the NFL, big story around Travis, is very different. Which one do you see him excelling at? Or do you see him being elite at either position given his responsibilities in his rookie year?
He'll excel at wide receiver easily. I think a lot quicker, and I think he'll be a lot more impactful on offense than he will be on defense. As I said last time I was here, I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where he will be elite at both. Being elite at one thing in the NFL is a very hard thing to do.
Correct.
Being elite
And
at
not many
2
guys can do it.
things is
Right.
even harder.
Yep.
Like, not to say I don't think he's capable of. If I'm just playing the odds, not likely. I think he
Right.
can be really, really good at both, though. I do think, though, if he were to be elite at one over the other, it would be wide receiver. And I think it's just because he'll have the opportunity, I think, to line up as wide receiver 2 against not the best corner on the opposing team, which means he'll get better opportunities in one-on-one situations. He'll have just more favorable matchups as well. Brian Thomas Jr. is the real deal. We saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
last season. And not to say
Jeez,
that
bro.
Travis isn't also, like, I think Travis can go for 750 and 5 this year, maybe get to 806.
Yeah.
But I think he'll have a strong rookie season as a wide receiver. But as I've said throughout the course of the weeks leading up to this first game here, the Jaguars need Travis Hunter to be elite at wide receiver, which is why I
Yes, they
think
do.
he's more likely to be elite at wide receiver. They need to surround Trevor Lawrence with as many weapons on offense as possible, because they need Trevor Lawrence to be a success story. They need Trevor Lawrence to live up to the hype that he had coming into the NFL. And so that means that at some point there's a possibility that Travis Hunter might only play wide receiver for a stretch of time, because that's what will be in the best interest of the team. Not to say that they didn't draft him to play both sides of the ball. I'm just saying that is a reality that could exist, maybe not this season or next, but just at some point in his career in Jacksonville. But I definitely have always felt that Travis was a better receiver than he was corner.
Same. Same.
And I think a part of that is because he is a good corner, it helps him be a better receiver.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. The other thing, too, is this would be the first
He's
time
literally
Travis
playing both sides on essentially the same
on the same level, right? He'll
column.
be
Yeah.
playing,
You get what
he'll
I'm
be
going
playing
for.
as wide receiver 2 going up against cornerback 2, so he'll be cornerback 2 going up against wide receiver 2. So, like, it's great for him. Also, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the first time in Travis Hunter's playing career that he's not the wide receiver 1, which only means great things for him as wide
Oh,
receiver
yeah.
2.
And BTJ.
Likewise, this will be the first time in his collegiate career probably that he's, or in his playing career probably, that he's not the cornerback 1, which should mean good things for him, except there are a lot of really good wide receiver 2s in the NFL. And just because you're not lined up against top dog, right? There are, your Devontae Smiths, your T. Higgins, your George Pickens, your Jalen Waddles, right? Or Tyreek Hill, whoever's the wide receiver 2 out there. There are still good wide receiver 2s, right? In your own division, you have to worry about what Tank Dell or Nico Collins, whoever, you know what I mean? Like, there's still some talented wide receiver 2s, which is why I think he'll be better as a wide receiver before he'll be at that level as a corner, because there is a lot of good second string wide receiver talent in the NFL. Gone are the days where you have a stud at wide receiver 1 and then extras from 2 to 4. Like, it's all
Like,
about
you
the
got
duo.
studs from 1 to 3.
Yeah. There are some teams of studs from 1 to 3, but most teams in the league absolutely have studs at 1 and 2. And so the drop off, while it might not be a precipitous drop off, it's not a massive drop off. Like, most of these teams, their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 are really 1A, 1B.
Facts. Like Higgins
Literally,
could go somewhere and be wide receiver 1. Call me crazy. I
Absolutely.
believe Devontae Smith is a wide receiver 1, but he is
Absolutely.
a perfect wide receiver 2 to AJ Brown.
Of course. Like, and there's so many other scenarios.
And I
like
could see Travis kind of being a Devontae. Am I crazy for saying that? Like, I kind of see a little bit of Devontae Smith in Travis Hunter.
No, I don't think it's nuts. I mean, again, I think because of the nature of Travis Hunter, I don't think Travis Hunter will ever be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL, because he can't.
He's too valuable to maybe be just that.
You
if he
can't
really
have
does
him
come out.
being the wide receiver 1 if he's also going to be playing corner, because you don't want him to do is be going up against the best corners in the NFL and the best wide receivers in the NFL every single game. Like, in order for Travis Hunter, if Travis Hunter is going to reach his potential on both sides and be elite on both sides, the Jaguars need to hold on to Brian Thomas Jr. from
Forever.
now until the time he hangs it up. That has to happen. The second Travis Hunter plays wide receiver, has to play wide receiver 1, you can kiss the two sides goodbye.
Yep, because it'll be too much for him to have, and not even too much for him. And I feel bad, like, questioning this because he clearly, I mean, again, 700 snaps on offense, 700 snaps on defense. Like, he was damn near even on both sides. It's not that I don't think Travis Hunter is capable of doing both, because he's clearly showed everybody that he could do both. It's that, again, the question of being at what level will he be wide receiver and at what level will he be corner? Because, I mean, when you look, this guy was a Heisman winner. He was a Biletnikoff winner, which is the best wide receiver in football. He was the Bednarik winner. Thought that was a little steep for the best defensive player in college football. And he clearly was in the running potentially for the Thorpe Award as well as the best college football corner. I mean, 96 catches, 1,258 yards, 15 touchdowns, and then you turn around and look as a corner, a 90.9 coverage grade that ranked third among corners on the list, and a top 10 passer rating when targeted metrics. That's just elite lockdown, right? Like 32 tackles, 11 PBUs, 4 interceptions, just insane. Like, never really graded lower than an 82 to about an 86. And I mean, even the Jackson State days coming up to, Colorado before he started getting that Heisman recognition. So, I definitely think it's awesome that Travis Hunter is going to get this opportunity. I would also see him excelling as a wide receiver. I just feel like he is more shifty. He has more to offer as a wide receiver. And he also looks excellent on the defensive side of the ball as well. I mean, we said it perfectly. The fact that you could play, it's not like he's playing wide receiver and then like subbing in at fullback or tight end because the team needs him. Like, no, he's literally playing in the same, that's what I meant to say. He's playing in the same snap alignment on both sides of the ball. And I think that is the biggest Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani of the NFL 2025 thing that you could do, right? And if we're talking about, potential stat line, I got a couple more questions here for you. I think you'll really enjoy it. One's going to be an awesome segment. I just literally thought it up. I could see, and maybe I'm crazy, I heard you say about 806. I'm looking at about 70 catches, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think BTJ is going to get a lot of the red zone work. I mean, clearly as a rookie, 1,300 yards, over 130 targets, about 90 catches, and double-digit touchdowns. So I believe we'll probably see BTJ jump to like a 1,600 yard receiver, probably still stay in the double-digit end. But I believe the presence of Hunter, once the tape is out on him in the NFL level, what he's able to do at wide receiver, like you're going to have to pick, right? Like, it's just like they were talking about last night on the broadcast. You get the favorable matchup on the outside one-on-one and you take it. And that's what defenses are going to be looking to defend against in the NFL. Final 2 parts of this segment before we get into our picks. Do you believe Travis Hunter could be a top 30 corner in the NFL in 2025?
Top 30?
Let's simplify it. Do you think Travis Hunter will be graded as a top 35 cornerback in the NFL in his rookie year?
Will he be graded as a top 35 cornerback in the NFL?
Like, if we're talking PFF, just kind of trying to quantify, like, where can we kind of place a ranking for Travis Hunter at the corner position in his rookie year? Because, like, you're not going to put it up there with the Surtans and the Trey Whites and the Jairs of the world, the Sauce Gardners of the world, but
I think it's possible. But again, like, if we just look at Jacksonville's schedule this year, right? And you think about the wide receiver 2s that they have to face. They have to play the Panthers. Their wide receiver 2 is
Leggett.
Xavier
Tet's
Leggett.
probably going to be wide receiver 1.
Because Tet's wide receiver 1, that was announced today. Tet's wide receiver. So cool. Xavier Leggett. They play the Bengals, which would be T. Higgins. They play the Texans, which would probably be Tank Dell, maybe.
Right.
If he's healthy, probably not this time, but next time later in the season for sure. They have the Niners, right? Which is what, Jawan Jennings. They've got the Chiefs, which is Xavier Worthy. Right? Xavier Worthy be the wide receiver.
Yeah, Rashee Rice is suspended right now. Yep.
Right. So then you have
got Nico Collins, Christian
Kirk, the Seahawks. You've got the Rams, which is probably going to be Devontae Adams. You've got the Raiders. Cakewalk. You have the Texans again. Then you have the Chargers, which is what, Keenan Allen, now that he's back? Yeah. Welcome to the league, bud. You got the Cardinals, probably a cakewalk there. You got the Titans. You'll probably be okay. Same thing with the Colts. Then you have the Jets. Alan Lazard's nothing to sneeze at. You've got the Broncos, Colts again. So it's like, it's not like,
I think it's kind of safe to say he could come in as a top 35
it's
guy.
It's possible, but like, it's also possible that in the matchups when the wide receiver 2 is nothing to sneeze at, he gets torched.
Oh yeah, 100%.
T. Higgins might go for 100.
We see him go up against Devontae Smith.
Devontae Adams in LA.
Yeah, that would be nasty.
Cook him. Welcome to the league, bud. How you doing? Like, what do we like? So, and again, I love Trav. I love Travis. I think Travis is a fantastic talent and he's a unicorn. And I have always had an affinity for unicorns in leagues that I talk about. He is a unicorn.
Yeah.
But brother, like Keenan Allen, welcome to the league. Devontae Adams, welcome to the league. T. Higgins, week 2, bud, welcome to the league. Like, it's you know what I mean. So it's like that's what I'm
this
saying.
This is
like,
so fun to keep an eye on.
We've reached a point in the NFL. Again, gone are the days where it's like Antonio Brown and company, Julio Jones and company. You know what I mean? Like it's not
like the
you know what I mean?
wide receiver 1 and 2 combo we saw was either Julio or Roddy White or Julio and Calvin Ridley. And
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley
like those days are gone. Like you're getting wide receiver 2s who, if they were on bad teams, they'd be a wide receiver 1. Or in the case of Keenan Allen or Devontae Adams, these are guys who were literally wide receiver 1 last year or the year before last. And they're just not now because of the new situation that they're in. So it's like when you take that into consideration, again, it's like he is the cornerback 2 going up against wide receiver 2s, but most of the wide receiver 2s he's going up against have wide receiver 1 talent. And so I think it's possible just because, again, you have 2 games against the Titans, you have 2 games against the Colts where their wide receiver cores are a little bit lackluster compared to the other ones he has to face. Yep. But he still has to be on his P's and Q's.
Right. 100%. All right, you ready for a fun segment?
Let's do it.
All right. This is Would You Rather Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. edition. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison?
Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison easily.
I would agree with you. Would you rather have Hunter and BTJ or Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel?
I would rather have.
Oh, there's one of them ones.
I'd rather have Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel.
Okay, I respect it. I'm going to take Travis Hunter and BTJ. I feel something special over there. Jaden Daniels will probably make me extremely wrong. Mm-hmm. I think this could be an interesting one too. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle?
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle's the wide receiver 1 now, just because Tyreek Hill is older. But Tyreek Hill, despite his age, is still one of the faster receivers in the league. You can't you have to put hands on him the first 5 yards off line of scrimmage or he's gone.
Yeah, that's the only way.
And even if you do put hands on him, he has the speed to recover and still blow the top off the defense. So definitely Hill and Waddle.
Yeah. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Bryce? Same for Hill and Waddle. It's close though. To me, it's close because
close. Yeah,
Jalen Waddle, Jalen Waddle was so special at Alabama, but I feel like I'm still waiting to see that Jalen Waddle that had so much skill.
It's Tua's fault.
It's Tua's fault and Mike McDaniel's fault. And
if you put Jalen Waddle with a top 10 quarterback, not even top 10, you put Jalen Waddle in Arizona with Kyler Murray.
You give Baker Mayfield Jalen Waddle?
He looks so much. It's Tua's fault.
That's a rattler, Jalen Waddle.
It's absolutely Tua's fault. Tua is inconsistent, and also he's missed so much time because of just the unfortunate injuries, whatever. So it's Tua's fault. I think Jalen Waddle with a better quarterback who's healthy and more consistent, he looks more like what we expected him to look like coming out of Alabama.
Yeah. So I can't lie. After saying that, I'm going to take Travis Hunter and BTJ. Travis Hunter and BTJ or Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams?
Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams for sure. I think Jamison Williams would probably, don't hold me to this, but Jamison Williams could probably be the wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville. Probably.
Maybe so. Because Amon-Ra.
I love BTJ and LSU as wide receiver university, but I think Jamison Williams could absolutely, he'd have a strong shot at being wide receiver 1 in Jacksonville.
Yeah, very, very possible. I think also, that's another Alabama wide receiver. We're just waiting for him to take the leap at the next level. You might call me crazy, and it's probably recency bias, but the rookie season that Brian Thomas Jr. just put up, I'm not so sure you can't argue him over Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm still going to give Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams the credit because I just think the longevity and, obviously Jamison Williams is still trying to get healthier, but it's close. But I feel like if we really get that true Travis Hunter, wide receiver 1, with the rookie Brian Thomas Jr., but building I don't know, Marcus. Is it crazy to say that we're already going to be looking at a top 7, top 8 wide receiver duo? I think we could.
By the end of the season, maybe.
Yeah, at the end of the season for sure. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
So this one's tough because
You're
of Chris Godwin.
you're thinking?
Because Chris Godwin's only because Chris Godwin's just been hurt so much.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he's missing week 1, which
I
is really
love Mike
sad.
Evans. You probably won't find a bigger Mike Evans fan than me who's not also a Bucks fan. I will take Mike Evans and Chris Godwin because I know what they look like when they're healthy.
Oh, yeah.
But it's close. It's really close because of the health component of Chris Godwin over the past couple years.
Yeah. Yeah, if I think we're looking at long-term youth potential, Hunter and Brian Thomas all day. I think if we're looking at what's really been done, Mike Evans is one of them ones. Like you said, we know what it looks like when they're both healthy. Then you take Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So for this one, I will take Evans and Godwin. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp in Seattle?
Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp. Jackson Smith and Jigba might go for 14 this year.
It's time for him to come around. He really should be wide receiver 1.
I know he's learned a lot from Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. He benefited immensely from being wide receiver 3. Yep. He's going to be the primary receiver out there now. And I think, again, playing opposite a guy like Cooper Kupp, he's going to eat. He might go for 14 this year.
Yep, he had 100 passes caught, 1,130 yards, 6 touchdowns. He led the NFL in snaps out of the slot receiver position, so we know what he's really capable of. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams?
Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, at the ripe age of almost 34, 35 years old, whatever he is still
he's
one of the
best
best runners in the NFL. And again,
you can really interchange,
playing alongside Puka Nacua. I'm telling, bro. These two young guys in the NFC West, and Puka and Jackson Smith and Jigba, being able to play alongside proven vets in Cooper Kupp and Devontae Adams, are going to eat. Puka Nacua is another guy who we should be on the lookout for a 1,400 yard season.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, for both of those two raw receiver pairings, both receivers have experience playing in the slot, which means you can line either receiver up in the slot, either receiver up as the X, either receiver up as the. It doesn't matter. And defenses just have to be prepared for all of the looks. And they're playing for 2 coaches and 2 offensive coordinators who have no problem mixing it up, which is also which is the best part about it.
Yep. Here's where it gets easy. Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I'm not a George Pickens guy. If CeeDee Lamb was not carrying this argument, I think it would easily be Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. I'm just not a Pickens guy. Bro.
I would say George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens does have to prove that he's not a major crash out at this level, but talent-wise,
Bro was doing it in Georgia. Doing it in Georgia.
Talent-wise, we know what he is as a talent. I think CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they might be a top 5 wide receiver duo in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, but would you agree that CD carries the argument?
I think
carries like 85% of the argument.
Well, I think we would say that right now, just because of what they've done up to this point in their respective careers. Like, CeeDee Lamb is at worst the 4th best receiver in football. At best, he has an argument to be the 3rd, right? It depends on how you feel about him and A.J. Brown. Maybe you're saying he's 5th if you want to take Amon-Ra over him. Me personally, I say he's 4th behind Jetta's Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown. So I think it's because of like just what we've seen CD do over the past couple seasons to why he's carrying. But I think George Pickens is the perfect number 2 for to CD's number 1.
He definitely feels like he should be a 2 compared to CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens as well. Would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, who I see a lot of Travis Hunter in? Or
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, for sure.
Agreed. It's not even a debate. And the last one here, would you rather have Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. or Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Absolutely.
100%. I'm going to go Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as well. You guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about that impromptu segment. Clearly, I just went and pulled a list of what people think is the top 10 wide receiver duos, but I think if we could get a little more interesting, maybe in the next episode, we can kind of break down some more interesting wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 type of things. I think it would be a great debate, man. All right, man. I know you got to get out of here in about 15 minutes, so let's go ahead and jump into our NFL Week 1 picks as football is back. We had an absolute banger. Disclaimer, we are excluding Miami and Indianapolis, Pittsburgh and New York, Tennessee and Denver, and Cincinnati and Cleveland. I just think those are going to be easily handled across the board. But every other game, as I told you, Marcus, really had an argument. In about 15 minutes here, and it'll be late when we post it. We've got Kansas City and L.A. and Sao Paulo. Kansas City is favored by 3. No real major injuries. You do have Jalen Royals out with a knee, who was drafted to be that wide receiver supplement. And then Mekhi Becton is questionable for the Chargers.
Something I didn't know about these two. They've played 8 times since Justin Herbert's been, or I think the last 8 times they've played since Justin Herbert's been the quarterback, there's been a lead change in the final minute or overtime, and the Chiefs are 7-1. So despite the
Crazy.
record, these teams are tightly contested. I do think though, man, I was so prepared to come on here and say the Chiefs are going to win, but now I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm like, maybe it's the Chargers. That's how back and forth I am with these two all the time. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because of the proven commodity.
For sure.
But like again, like it's a 3.5 point spread. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Chargers win. But it is week one,
Right.
and like how many times have the Chiefs lost in week one in the Pat Mahomes era?
Right. Yeah, and they are in Sao Paulo as well, and especially with Andy Reid, I mean, he's not coming off a bye, but when, we talk about Andy Reid coming off of rest, like
Yeah,
he's
week one
absolutely
wins and
crazy.
coming off a rest. That brother's darn near unstoppable.
Absolutely. I'm gonna take Kansas City in this one. We got the New York Giants traveling to the Washington Commanders. Washington is favored by 5.5.
Commanders going to win, and I think they're going to win by more than 5.5. I am excited to see Russell Wilson play in New York. I think Russell
Yep.
Wilson and Malik Neighbors are going to be an interesting to watch. As we talked
I
about
think
last time I was
Jackson
on the
Dart's gonna
show,
fall in love with
it's
that too, man.
yeah, it's only a matter of time before we see Jackson Dart. I don't think we'll see Jackson Dart on Sunday unless the
Yeah.
Giants are just getting absolutely beat down.
Yeah. Yeah. Notably as well, Andrew Thomas is doubtful, one of the better offensive linemen in the league, clearly a cornerstone of that New York line. I'm gonna go Washington. I think we can see a sneaky one there, though. I'm going to take Washington with the win. We've got Tampa Bay traveling to Atlanta. Tampa Bay is favored by 1.5. We have Chris Godwin, who is out. Tristan Wirfs is out with a knee injury. The corner Benjamin Morrison, who is a great draft pick. I honestly forgot that he went to Tampa Bay. He is also out. Vita Vea is questionable. No real glaring ones for Atlanta besides Darnell Mooney's questionable with a shoulder. I'm taking Tampa Bay. I just think that they're the better team. Atlanta is at home, though. Tampa Bay does have a lot of injuries. What do you think?
Tampa Bay's the better team. They do have a lot of injuries. I think the Falcons can actually get to the upset here week one. I'm very high on the Falcons. I said on Talk About Sports a little while ago that I think that their offense, just when you look at just their skill positions, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Darnell Mooney,
Like
if
it's
you
top
play
10 for sure.
Kyle Pitts, top 10 offense potential, I think. Who's the starting quarterback in Atlanta? Is it Kirk Cousins?
No, it's Michael Penix. It's his
It's
job.
Michael Penix. That's good.
100%.
And
Penix
I hadn't
takes him.
seen anything about that, so I'm glad I hadn't checked. I'm glad that he's a starter. I think they could. It's a home game, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
injuries in Tampa Bay. I know Tampa Bay's the better team. They're the better team when they're healthy.
Yep.
I think the Falcons can go in here and make a statement win and get a win against the Buccaneers to start the year off right.
I'm honestly going to flip and go right there with you, man, because I think Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs being out is huge. If Vita Vea doesn't play, I just think that's more pressure that Atlanta doesn't have to deal with. And obviously,
Yeah.
when you get pressure on anybody, especially a team like Atlanta, they do crumble somewhat. I will take not Tampa Bay. I will take Atlanta. We got Carolina traveling to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's favored by 3.5. No real notable injuries that would really majorly affect this one.
I think the Panthers win this game on the road. I
Ooh,
think
Bryce Young with
I
the
think
upset in week one.
I think Tetero McMillan and Xavier Legette, I think, are going to be a really nice 1 and 2 for Bryce Young. I know the Panthers defense isn't the best, but they've also got Chuba Hubbard. And Chuba Hubbard, I think, is going to have an opportunity to really go out there and eat. He might push 150 week one. So I've got the Panthers going in Jacksonville and getting the win, Duval County.
Ooh, I'm gonna take Jacksonville with the win here at home. I just think we're gonna see a nice flowing of this offense. I feel like Carolina is being pumped up a little too much. Now
That's
it's
fair.
really like,
That is
okay,
fair. I
with
do agree with that. That is very fair.
yeah, and like we're expecting the number one pick in Bryce Young, like year 3, take the leap. He got his swagger back after he got benched last year, had to come back in. He was just really on his, his Alabama run. I'm gonna take Jacksonville though. It could be a good one though. No question about it. We have Vegas and New England at New England. New England is favored by 2. Will Campbell is questionable with an ankle, and Christian Gonzalez is out with a hamstring injury. This is huge. Who's your pick?
I think I think the Pats are going to win because I think between Amari Cooper retiring the other day and
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is really
He literally
weird.
signed. Yeah, did he
They got
sign with them
he
just to retire
he
with them? I'm
I think
guessing.
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I think with him having retired, I think they're gonna have to lean on Ashton Genty a little bit, probably a lot more than they would have anticipated this early into the season.
Yeah.
And I think with Mike Vrabel being a defensive guy, having been a linebacker for New England, I think if they're going to be putting them in a position where all they have to do is stop the run and kind of force them to pass with a lackluster receiving core, I think that means good things for the Patriots. The Patriots are the better team also, and I expect
Yeah.
Drake May to start his rookie season with a bang. Or I'm
Yeah.
sorry, his second season. Excuse me, not his rookie season.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to take Vegas in this one. I just think Christian Gonzalez and Will Campbell being out is going to be huge. And Vegas is one of my sleeper teams of the year. It's going to be a close one. They're in New England. But again, Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. I said Amari Cooper, but he retired. Thankfully, you have Max Crosby. So, like, you do have some players. Pete Carroll, I think, could be a big, big insertion into that team and just that franchise. So, I will take Vegas here. We have Arizona traveling to my New Orleans Saints. Arizona is favored by 6.5 in this one. Will Hernandez is out for Arizona with a knee. No Trevor Penning for the Saints or Chase Young, which is very, very rough. And then Jordan Howden, our safety, is questionable with an oblique. Saints rumored to be the worst team in football this year. What are you thinking, brother?
I don't know if the Saints are going to win a football game this year, dude.
Are you just saying that? Give me your real fucking pick.
I'm not. I'm dead serious. Give me the Cardinals by 3 scores. This is probably
it is the last time y'all see Goat Talk on the show.
This is probably the lock of the week, dude. Cardinals against Spencer Rattler.
He's letting me have it right now.
With Maserati Marv, James Conner, Trey McBride. Are you kidding? And the midget man back there running around. Are you kidding me?
Oh, goodness.
Absolutely. Give me the Cardinals giving us the blowout all the Eagles fans thought we were going to get last night. Absolutely.
You know what, bro? Piss off. I'm taking my Saints. I don't care about what. A dub is a dub. It'll be a moral victory. It will be a nice one to see. I'm very interested in the new Kellen Moore era. Spencer Rattler. Like, we got different uniforms. We're painting the end zones different. Like, it definitely feels like just an overall culture overhaul, really, for the New Orleans Saints. Like I said, this will be Marcus's last time on the show. Appreciate your pick. We've got San Francisco traveling.
Your team sucks when you're talking about new uniforms and new end zone paint. What? End zone paint. Adam. Oh my gosh. You are better than that.
I started off with Kellen Moore and Spencer Rattler, bro.
I thought we were going to get some more like Chris Olave talk.
He said,
we're going to end zone paint and the mustard gold unis.
All right. Said end zone paint. Adam.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
Definitely looking forward to Olave and Shaheed being healthy. But like I know what they're really capable of. The reason for the emphasis, and I feel like the more I talk, the more you're just giving me shit. The reason on the emphasis for Kellen Moore, Spencer Rattler, is like they are going to be really the pivotal parts of that offense. And seeing Rattler with a healthy Olave, with a healthy Shaheed, hoping that Alvin Kamara can get revitalized by Kellen Moore. But let me get out of this topic and let's actually get to the next one. San Francisco at Seattle. San Francisco favored by 1.5. Not a whole lot of really glaring things here. Obviously, you got Christian McCaffrey, questionable. We got Jordan James is doubtful. What are you thinking here? Seattle is the underdog by 1.5. Excuse me.
If Christian McCaffrey doesn't play, because I know he's listed as a question. Well, if he doesn't play, the Seahawks are going to blow the Niners out. If he does play, the Seahawks are probably still going to blow the Niners out. I've got the Seahawks winning this game.
You said you have the Seahawks winning?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this could be a good one. I've got Seattle as a sleeper team, too. If you guys watch the show, you know. I'm going to take San Francisco in this one, though. They're at home. I think it'll be a solid game. No question about it. Now we have Detroit traveling to Green Bay. The Micah Parsons debut. Green Bay favored by 2.5. No real glaring injuries here. You do have Savion Williams, who was also drafted with Matthew Golden as a wide receiver for Green Bay. He is questionable with a hamstring, Savion Williams. That's really the only noticeable one, though. What is your take on your boys and the Micah Parsons debut at home in week 1 against Detroit?
This is our first time starting the season at home in like 4 or 5 years. And I think it might be a little bit more. First home game for Micah Parsons, first home game for Matthew Golden. I think the Packers are going to be able to take the win here against Detroit. Detroit's got a lot to figure out. Again, we talked about it a little bit last time I was here. 2 new coordinators. Yeah. There's just a little bit of uncertainty in the air. They are the more talented team and the better team on paper. But I think when the rubber hits the road, I think the Packers better go out there and get the win.
Yeah, I've got the Packers taking this one, too. I just think it's going to be a really nice game for Micah Parsons. I think it's going to be awesome to see Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of the ball, just getting after Jordan Love, really testing these trenches up front. I'll take Green Bay with the win. We've got Houston at L.A., the Rams. Rams favored by 3. No real lingering ones here besides Christian Kirk is out with a hamstring. I do like Christian Kirk as a receiver, but I don't know if that's a real needle mover for Houston. What are your thoughts? What's your pick?
This one's going to be a tight one. I can see it going either way. I so desperately want to pick the Rams. I do think the Rams are the better team.
Yeah.
But I am going to go Texans because I think having Nick Chubb
Mm.
in that backfield
Yeah, which is huge.
is going to be
I feel like we
massive
forget that
for
he signed
them.
with Houston.
Yeah, I think Nick Chubb being in Houston is going to be massive for them. And I think he could have a really good game to start the season. So I'm going to go Texans here in a tight one. This could probably be the best game of the day on Sunday.
Very well could be. I'm going to take the Rams. They're favored. They're at home. I just genuinely think they're the better football team. They're better coach. They have a bit more talent. Now, the Houston Texans are very comparable to them, but I think the Rams are going to take this one home. Don't forget about the Sunday night football matchup, though. You said the best game of the day. We got Baltimore traveling to Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 1.5. Isaiah Likely is out. Patrick Card is out, and Trey White is questionable for their respectful teams, respectively. Whatever the hell. What's your pick? Buffalo's favored by 1.5.
It's the regular season and it's week 1. So Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are probably going to win. So I will pick the Ravens. If this were a playoff game, though, I'd have a different answer.
Playoff Josh Allen. Andy Reid off a bye.
Yeah.
Adam
Lamar
talking about the
Jackson in
Saints
playoff.
end zone paint.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson, 2 turnovers in his last 4 playoff losses. I mean, I don't know. So
Yeah.
this is a playoff game. I've had a different answer, but I will give the Ravens the edge here. It'll be Jair's first game with Baltimore. Derrick Henry's going to be there. I mean, like these two teams, when they match up, they always play well, playoffs or not. But I will give the edge to Baltimore in this one.
Me too. I just think Baltimore is the more stacked team. Josh Allen's going to be asked to do more. Clearly, Baltimore just has the better defense. I believe they had the better coach, the better players, the better offense. It's a slight edge for Lamar over Josh. It's going to be a great quarterback battle. Last one here before we quickly get through to college picks. Minnesota traveling to Chicago, kind of a push of the week. Chicago favored by 1. What's your take?
Minnesota. I know it's going to be
Why is Chicago favored? Is it because McCarthy is like
I think it's because it's going to be it's a tough
Yeah.
It's a tough spot for JJ McCarthy to be starting, but
at Soldier Field too?
I mean, Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson. The Vikings are the better team. It'll be the first, but as I think about that, though, I do think actually the Bears can win this one because I think they just have more intact compared to there's less variables, right? Like the main variable really for the Bears is like coaching, but like the biggest variable for the Vikings is your quarterback. And if your quarterback's a massive variable, probably not going to win. So we'll see how it goes, but I do think the Bears can actually get a win at home against the Vikings, and it would be good for them too. It'll be really good for them to kick off the Ben Johnson era with a win, a divisional win in prime time. So I'm actually going to pick the Bears and not the Vikings.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. I think we're going to really be able to see what JJ McCarthy is made of. I think he's got the best situation for a rookie in recent memory. And ironically, when we talk about that, we look at Caleb Williams and what he walked into. But I'm going to take Minnesota with the upset. I just think the coaching of Kevin O'Connell, what JJ McCarthy will have at his disposal. And I feel like this defenses could kind of be comparable, at least in week 1, for how this one's going to shake out. Week 2 picks for the college football season. We got UGA and Austin Peay. Georgia is favored by 45 points. We're only talking about them because it's my team. I've got Georgia winning. You do too? Unless you're about to say some shit.
Nope. Go Dogs.
I'd be like, Adam, Austin Peay, they're Stockton. We've got Texas taking on San Jose State. Texas is favored by 37. I'm taking Texas.
Of course, it's not a good football team, so Arch Manning in Texas will look great. That's what they do.
They better have that coming out party. We've got your boys, Oregon, taking on Oklahoma State. Oregon favored by about 4 touchdowns, 27.5. I'm clearly taking Oregon. Yourself?
Yeah, it's another great win. I was just saying to my friends the other night, it's unfortunate as an Oregon fan, I can't really get pumped up about our season because the first couple weeks of our season, not that competitive. Our first true test is going to be against Penn State in Penn State. It's going to be a game. Looking forward to it. Last time we shared the field with Penn State, we beat the brakes off in the Big Ten championship game. So that's in a couple weeks, but now I've got us going up against Oklahoma State and getting a win, and it'll be our first true test. Last weekend's Montana State was like a tune-up. I'm not at all writing off Oklahoma State, but I do think we're going to get the win.
Yeah, we'll have to get back on the show together when Oregon and Penn State play because you already know we'll be chopping it up. Also, guys, side note, Marcus is going to be on with us pretty frequently talking college football as he is now. He's one of the few that I know that's in this space talking college and NFL, not just professional. I'm going to take Oregon as well. I think I already said it before we got in. Bama and ULM. Now, Bama's favored by 36, but the last time that Alabama lost an unranked conference game was to ULM back in 2007 with Nick Saban as the coach. What is your pick?
Alabama's going to win, but there are a lot of questions about Alabama coming out of that game last week against Florida State. Alabama's going to win, but Alabama needs to look. Correction. Ty Simpson needs to look a lot better than how he looked.
Yeah, because Ryan Williams is questionable in this one with a concussion.
Yeah. I would say Alabama's entering this game the same way that Texas is. Their quarterbacks did not look good last week. They need this game to have a big performance to show what they're actually capable of.
That's the biggest reason they're on the pick'ems this week.
Yeah.
Give me ULM to repeat the history, boy, and I will eat the crow if we get back on here and Bama puts up 75.
What I
had to do it, bro. I had to do it. I got
people
people riled up on
Facebook
last week and TikTok and Instagram about Alabama winning 4 games this year, but jokes on y'all because it was an overreaction. But when you look at Alabama's schedule, though, no joke, they have a 4 to 6 week stretch where they could easily go 500. They could easily go 2-4.
I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama's not in a bowl game this year.
Yeah. All right, you just dropping gems now.
With the way that Ty Simpson played last week,
bro? I will be shocked if Ty Simpson gets 3 starts this year. Yeah.
If he struggled against Florida State, that Georgia defense, oh my gosh!
I don't think we'll see Ty Simpson. I can't remember the backup's name, but
that's fair.
Like I don't think we'll see him. I think Kalen DeBoer's got 2 more weeks. Like, if Bama comes out and loses, Ty Simpson's getting benched. I don't care.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's on a pick.
If they lose, it'll be because of him. If they lose, it'll be because of him. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, last couple here. Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss, I think this could be a sleeper. Ole Miss is favored by about 9 or 10 in this one. Kentucky's always been a hard game to play for anyone in the SEC, especially if you have to go to their house. Their defense has always been pretty reputable. Nothing really poking out on the injury report here. Again, Ole Miss favored by about 9-10 points. What you think?
I like Ole Miss here. I think they might be a sleeper in the SEC, and I think a win against Kentucky would be the first step towards that. Because, like you said, for some reason, a lot of teams, I don't want to say struggle, but for some reason, a lot of teams probably play a little bit worse than maybe we anticipate going into it when they have to go visit Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss as well, but if Kentucky comes out with the upset, I'm not shocked. I do think Ole Miss, I think Lane Kiffin, they're going to have, they're going to be tested a little bit playing Kentucky because their defense has just always been solid in the SEC. And, I kind of forget that Ole Miss and Kentucky are in the SEC. And then, Ole Miss comes in and beats Georgia like they do last year. So we definitely get enlightened on Jackson Dart. Hopefully the best game of the weekend, the only top 25 matchup that is notable. I think the only one, actually. Michigan and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by about 5.5 points here. Nothing really pressing. You do have an offensive lineman, Andrew Babala, knee. He was out for the season. Rod Moore is questionable. That was undisclosed as to what it might be. And then Oklahoma's doing pretty solid on the injury report. Again, they're favored by about 5.5 points. Who you got?
I was prepared to come on and say Oklahoma, but I actually think Michigan can go out here and get the win. The quarterback, I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to have a great chance to prove it here against Oklahoma SEC defense. It's not going to be easy, but I think Michigan, and I mean, it wouldn't be an upset technically because Michigan's the higher ranked team, right? They're
15 to 18. Yeah.
But it'll be an upset in terms of Vegas, the way that Vegas would consider it. So I do have Michigan going out there and getting the win.
Yes, same here. I will take Michigan in the win on this one. That's going to be a wrap for episode 113. We chopped up Saquon Barkley being the number 1 NFL player on the top 100. We gave you our NFL and college football picks, Travis Hunter's news, and everything about the season opener. Of course, Marcus, before we get out of here, please tell people how they can find you. I just saw your Instagram the other day, brother. You got like 4 things you're involved with. My apologies for not knowing that you are the true grinder, okay? Guesting on NFL with AJL and running Marcus Talk Sport. Bro, that's light work, dog. You doing Protect Our Queens. You writing for the WNBA. Let them folks know.
So you can follow me on Instagram at marcus.talk.sports, on TikTok at marcustalksports, no dots as well. I do a lot. I host Protect Our Queens with my guy Martin Sories over on Basketball Society. I do college football here now with Adam. I do football mostly with Germ on Stuff About Sports and Give a Shot Network, but also here as well. And I do basketball on Basketball Society as well for the men. And I'm a writer for the Lead. I write about the Aces and the Mystics for the Lead. So yeah, there's a lot happening. And that is exactly how I wanted it to be. So it is always a pleasure to be here to talk football with Adam. And I'm glad that he always considers me as an option when he's trying to figure out who he wants to talk sports with. So I appreciate you, brother.
100%, bro. You're always in the rotation. Before we get out of here, y'all please make sure to like and share wherever you may be watching. Subscribe on YouTube. Do all of the same things for Marcus as well. Check him out on Stuff About Sports. Give it a shot network. Everything he just plugged you with, if you find him on Instagram, he will definitely be able to, or you'll be able to get directed to all of his stuff. Check the link tree down in the description at NFL with AJL on all social media platforms. I promise if you can't find us, you're simply not looking hard enough. I've really been making a push on the content for you guys. I've posted like 25 shorts this week. I'm going to have a lot more coming from this one as well. I'm just trying to grind for y'all as a community. I'm just trying to grind for the audience, the fans that are actually out here commenting, watching the pods. Like, I know we're not huge right now, but I know the way to really just give you guys the takes that you deserve is to just be more committed, chop it up. We've got the editor, thankfully. And I'm just so happy to be blessed by God to be in this position, to have guys like you on the show, man, and just be able to come back and keep getting at it, And it's just like we got new things. We try to every time. We got a different setup here. We're trying to have guests frequently. I think I've done 1, maybe 2 solo shows since we've come back. So it's like I love having people on the show. But anywho, let's get out of here. We got Chargers and Chiefs in Sao Paulo. I believe it's already kicked. We love y'all. We need y'all. And of course, we will see y'all next time.